amazing to me. I didn't care where it was. It was better than where I had just been.
It was almost like an abyss of nothing. Nirvana, if you want to put it.
I know I crossed over.
Dannion Brinkley, Tim Spinner, Kimberly Thompson. 3 people who believe they left their bodies, transcended the boundaries of time and space, and traveled to a place they feel is heaven.
This bolt of lightning comes down the phone line. It hits me here.
Brinkley had not 1, but 3 near-death experiences. The first more than 30 years ago.
I remember the last thing the ambulance driver said was, "He's gone. He's gone."
And clinically dead for 28 minutes.
I see this tunnel forming, and it's moving whether I'm moving or not. And I come into this place of this bright, beautiful, magnificent light.
2 more near-death experiences stemming from heart complications brought Brinkley closer and closer to what he believes was his final destination.
You see all these lights on the side of the mountains that are people's houses, and they were like crystal cities. And inside of this place were these beings, radiant, magnificent.
Everything being black at first and everything lightened to gray essences.
Tim Spinnard was 14 years old when a school gym accident sent him tumbling headfirst into the hardwood. Spinnard says he left his body and started down a tunnel with other human forms.
Then one of them reached up and pushed me back on the chest. And then they all started doing it. And the next thing I knew, I was back at the beginning, and then I wasn't there at all. I was circling around the top of a room, looking down at my parents on one side and a bunch of people working on me on a table.
All of a sudden I felt what I think was my soul being, in a sense, pulled out of my physical body.
12 years ago, Kimberly Thompson lay in a Las Vegas bed with an infection and fever that she believes nearly killed her.
I remember being pulled out of this tunnel, into a beautiful, beautiful green pasture. I'll call it a pasture, with beautiful white daisies.
Was it possible this was a fever-induced hallucination?
I've hallucinated when I've been sick, because I can remember, and it wasn't pleasant. This was pleasant, and it was just a totally different feeling than hallucinating. It was, I know I crossed over.
Did Kimberly, Dannion, and Tim cross over? The number of people who believe they've had a near-death experience numbers in the millions. But was it real, or a hallucination spun out by an oxygen-deprived brain?
We think that they occur inside the mind.
Michael Shermer is the founding publisher of Skeptic Magazine, founder of the Skeptic Society, and author of a handful of books that attempt to explain away what he calls irrational beliefs, including near-death experiences.
They're common to the brain, but culture or our individual lives fill in the details.
But Shermer does not speak for everyone in the scientific community.
During that time, he saw a white light in front of him, and his mother was in front of him, motioning for him to come towards her. And he said then all of a sudden he started to feel warm again, and the mother's hands, the mother had passed away years ago, the hands got real, like, don't come, and he said he felt real warm again, and then the next thing he knew after that, I was banging him on the head to wake him up in the recovery room.
Cardiac surgeon Dr. V.C. Smith remembers one patient, a man who he put into circulatory arrest during surgery, meaning he was clinically dead. Only when the patient's wife prodded him did he tell his story.
If there is such a thing as out-of-body experience, he had an out-of-body experience.
Even some skeptics will allow that science has not ruled out the existence of other worlds, places that, real or not, have fundamentally changed the lives of those who believe have crossed over. They're more spiritual, they don't fear death, and they don't believe others should either.
I believe that I was taken from somewhere on a journey to accomplish something.
It was a dramatic moment for me, because it shows that life has meaning and it shows it has purpose.
Brinkley, a reformed hellraiser, is now an author of best-selling books detailing his near-death experiences. Brinkley believes he was sent back to this world for one purpose: to tell people not to be afraid of death through his group, appropriately called the Twilight Brigade.
I recruit and train hospice volunteers. I stay at the bedside. I look and try to make a difference in those people's lives.
Before their near-death experience, Dannion, Kimberly, and Tim were not religious. Now, each calls themselves spiritual, at peace with their life.
I will say at ease. So almost felt like there was a lot of pressure lifted off of me.
I'm not so obsessed anymore with death and questioning death and being fearful of it.
There's no way that anybody who has ever seen the magnificence and the cosmic wonder that awaits you and the method by which you leave this world so